Dobrze, to zacznijmy w takim razie od pytań. To nie są wszystkie pytania, które padły w dniu dzisiejszym, dlatego że było ich zbyt wiele. Na niektóre jeszcze nie mamy odpowiedzi. Musimy, że tak powiem, gdzieś tam wyszperać z jakichś archiwów Adobe. W związku z tym na te pytania, na które nie odpowiedzieliśmy, postaramy się odpowiedzieć w najbliższych tygodniach, dniach poprzez Facebooka, więc też zapraszam Państwa, którzy jeszcze nie śledzą naszego profilu na Facebooku, aby dołączyć do nas i tam śledzić ewentualnie pytania, których nie udało nam się zaadresować, tam odpowiemy. Dobrze, zacznijmy w takim razie od pierwszego pytania. Pytanie do mnie.
You rigged that.
Gdzie
I know you did.
te pomarańczowe trzewiki?
The question is actually, where did I get these shoes? W sklepie. Gdzie kupiłem te buty? W galerii Mokotów chyba. Odpowiedź prosta. Okay. Again for me. To jest pytanie na temat. This is the question actually about the Creative Cloud for Teams, and somebody's asking has 4 members in the team, and what benefits they get. So let me take that in Polish. Po pierwsze, rozwiązanie Creative Cloud dla teamów, zespołów jest tak naprawdę rozwiązaniem, które myślę, że od 2 użytkowników już zaczyna mieć sens. Dlatego, że po pierwsze, jeżeli jesteśmy na przykład właścicielem agencji, która ma wielu projektantów, grafików, deweloperów, to jeżeli mamy rozwiązanie Creative Cloud for Teams, my jesteśmy właścicielem tej treści, która jest przechowywana na przykład w rozwiązaniu Creative Cloud Sync. My tą treścią zarządzamy, czyli jeżeli nasz projektant, nie wiem, odchodzi z pracy, to jest jego profil i wszystkie rzeczy, które były przechowywane na jego profilu, my je przejmujemy. Dodatkową korzyścią z tego rozwiązania jest to, że mamy 100 GB storage'u, czyli przestrzeni dyskowej dla naszych użytkowników. Domyślna wartość tradycyjnego rozwiązania Creative Cloud to tylko 20 GB. To są takie podstawowe elementy, ale w przypadku firmy, gdzie mamy potrzebę zarządzania też licencjami, to rozwiązanie ma jak najbardziej sens i dużą wartość dodaną.
Jeszcze Piotrze, jakbyś mógł wspomnieć o wsparciu technicznym.
Tak, jeszcze jest kwestia wsparcia technicznego. Tutaj w tym przypadku jest bodajże godzina czy więcej.
Na każdego członka zespołu rocznie.
Dla każdego członka zespołu rocznie ma możliwość bezpośrednio porozmawiania ze specjalistą Adobe, który pomoże w rozwiązaniu problemów i w jakichś tematach
Jest to sesja dedykowana dla konkretnego klienta, czyli tak naprawdę klient w 100% może wykorzystać ten czas z konsultantem Adobe, w jaki sposób chciałby go wykorzystać.
Bez przesady.
Online. Telefonicznie.
All right, Jason, something for you.
Will you sing for us? Please, please, please.
Well, no.
That was quick. Okay.
I really need a piano or something. I'm not really in singing voice today, but you can check on my blog, and I have some new songs that I posted there just this morning. If you want to check them out.
Yes, please do.
So next time, I'll bring some singing next time. The weather today is not being very kind to my throat, so I wouldn't want to. Wouldn't want to disappoint.
That question might have been before we saw the video with Jason and the chest hair.
That's true.
That's
so
right.
I don't know if if you were really asking for that since it was before the video, but nonetheless.
But we also have to mention that Jason is a singer. He did a record, and you can look for it in the iTunes store.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's go for the next one, Piotr. Okay, this is a question for Rufus, and
All right.
we can also take that in Polish, and so Piotr can discuss that in Polish, and because this isn't really specific to you, but I think we can answer that in Polish.
I'll take that.
Okay.
That's all right.
If you're right.
Model subskrypcji tak naprawdę w to, co wydaje nam się, czyli jesteśmy w zasadzie przekonani, nie tyle, że nas rozleniwi, ale tak naprawdę przyspieszy nasze tempo innowacji, bo do tej pory, żeby wprowadzić jakąkolwiek nową funkcje w rozwiązaniach typu Photoshop, Illustrator, we wszystkich rozwiązaniach Adobe, trzeba było czekać na nowy release produktu. Trzeba było czekać na CS5, 5,5, CS6. To były czasami z reguły takie cykle półtoraroczne. W tej chwili przechodząc na model subskrypcyjny, mamy możliwość wprowadzania innowacji w zasadzie z dnia na dzień. W momencie, kiedy nasi inżynierowie stworzą, przetestują nową funkcję, ta funkcja będzie dostępna od razu w zasadzie i pojawi się nowy update do Photoshopa, Illustratora czy konkretnie narzędzia, które zostało zaktualizowane i nie trzeba będzie czekać na cały pakiet, więc to pozwala nam na jeszcze większą elastyczność i myślę, że to też wcześniej było dużym ograniczeniem właśnie te cykle i czekanie 1,5 roku na nowy produkt. Tym razem, tak jak powiedziałem, to będą bardzo szybkie, kilkumiesięczne czasami cykle, żeby czekać na nowe rozwiązanie, na nowe właściwości naszych narzędzi.
Dziękuję, Piotr. Prosimy o następne.
Rufus.
Rufus, a question for you. Will CS6 open PSD
PSD
files made
yes.
on...
This is a question about backward compatibility. So as with all new versions, there's always ways back in time. So in InDesign, of course, it's going to be save as, IDML and for backward compatibility. The same thing goes for Photoshop and Illustrator. We've always had ways to actually take the files from a more recent version and put them back into an older version. So yes, definitely this is something that our applications must always be able to do, to be able to back saves.
Thank you.
All right. Rufus again.
Yes.
Oh, this is again about backward compatibility. Usable in future. Oh, so of course, if projects done now will be able to be used in future versions, of course. And like I said before, if you want to save back from InDesign, you go the IDML route and back save for earlier versions. But like I said, this is not only InDesign, this is really all of our creative applications that let you back save.
Okay.
Okay, the next question goes to
Rufus.
Again. You definitely
Popular.
rigged that. Creative Cloud will be in constant update. What about third-party plugins? Very good question. So you've seen that we've done CS5, CS6, and now CC. And what we've presented a few weeks ago, and which is coming out on June the 17th, is a brand new version of 15 of our creative apps, okay? So this is a milestone for us again. So we have CS5, CS6, CC. And then as time goes by, we will maintain our promise to our users that we will be adding new features, that we will be adding innovation into each of these applications as time goes by. But then there will be a time in future where we will have a new milestone version. So basically, nothing has really changed for third-party developers. Third-party developers have to watch out for these milestone versions, not the ones that add new features in the middle. I hope that is clear.
Yep.
Thank you.
Paul.
A question to you. What will happen when two people will open and change file at the same time?
Same thing that happens in other products that allow you to share files. If Piotr has a PSD open, I have a PSD open, we might save them at different times. There's that conflict, and it will say that there's a conflicted file, puts that PSD right next to the current one, and it says conflicted file and the timestamp. So that's what it does.
Thank you.
Paul
And
again.
the next question for you. Do you need to restart Photoshop to use new synced font? I'm on Mac.
No. We actually tested this today when we saw this question, and it's amazing. Go to Typekit, add your desktop fonts, open up Photoshop. You do have to wait for it to sync, but it's immediately available in Photoshop, in InDesign, After Effects, wherever.
And PowerPoint.
And PowerPoint.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay, Paul
Paul
again.
again. Typekit. Is there a license for non-web fonts using?
I'm not sure what that means. but you have typekit web fonts that you can put on a web page, like I just showed about 20 minutes ago. And then you have the desktop fonts. So again, that desktop box I check, available anywhere in my InDesign document for a print publication. So hopefully that answers.
So all the fonts actually are web fonts, which are available through Typekit, and they can also be used for like a desktop.
No.
No?
The desktop fonts are actually open type fonts that you install on your.
You install on your.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're not the web fonts. So they're the complete families, the ones that include also the Polish characters and everything that you need to create a layout. Yes.
All right.
All right, thank you. And then the next one for Paul again. Can I add my own custom font to Typekit and sync it?
No, you can't. But I'm glad we're having this Q&A because I would love to see that in our desktop app.
Yeah, I think that
Right.
actually makes sense, that feature.
Totally, yeah, just management of my fonts.
Yeah.
Thanks. Paul again. Can I rid of the ProSite part in my ProSite address?
Yes, you can. Very easily. If I go into, I think it's the publish settings, you can add your own domain name.
Thank you.
Okay.
Paul again.
I put these in there just so I know.
When you pause your CC subscription, what will happen with ProSite on my domain?
Just like if you stop hosting for any site, I'm not sure exactly what page will be shown, but it's basically like a dead link. It'll say, sort of temporarily
However, it is important to know that if you decide to unsubscribe from Creative Cloud, which is of course something we hope that you will not do, you can then go onto Behance and restart a ProSite contract with Behance directly.
And
So-
you never, it's not like your site goes away, you just
No,
don't
no.
have the ability to publish it and it's not made live, if you will.
Thank you.
Rufus.
Rufus, is it possible to publish share images from Photoshop on Behance, not directly to projects, but to work in process?
Yes, you can do that. You can actually, from Photoshop, I've shown you the menu where you can publish your work directly to Behance. Then you can choose if you want to make it public or if you want to have it in a closed circle, basically, which means inside of a work in progress. So yes, you can do that in the various windows that you go through before you publish your work to Behance.
Thank you. Jason, what about Cooler app for Android? Is it coming anytime soon, or is it iOS feature only?
So we get asked this question a lot about the apps as they relate to iOS devices, and Android devices. And the current thinking is that there just seem to be, at this moment, more creatives using the iOS devices for these types of applications. Now, currently, that's where we are with these. Some people have said, well, we had ideas once before on Android and took it away. We're always continually investigating to see where the usage lies. Obviously, there's a great deal of development that goes into these. So the more people that we hear saying that they need it or require it on Android, the more we will reconsider creating and deploying these applications for Android. So it's not a closed door. We still have Photoshop Touch, for example, on the Android devices. So it's just a matter of usage. And the more that we can hear from you, and this is the kind of thing that we've been doing in CS6 and CC, tell us. If everyone in this room is using an Android device and they say, I need this, I need Cooler for Android, okay, many hands.
How many hands?
Okay.
How many?
Cooler
Let's
for
see, how
Android?
many?
Wow.
All right. Yeah, okay.
So
You need to tell us. And the more people that tell us that they want an Android, this is ultimately what fuels the development for these.
So Jason, can we take this that they are telling you now to take this back to corporate?
Absolutely.
raise your
Okay.
hands again.
Will count?
Using Android.
Yeah, keep them up, please.
All right, got it.
Let's
Thanks.
say
All right.
100.
All right.
Okay. Let's
Okay, 100 asked in Warsaw.
Excellent.
Okay, Rufus, the next question goes to you.
All right, so when you pause or cancel subscription to Creative Cloud, all the fonts that you've downloaded to your desktop from Creative Cloud of course, will be removed from the service. Now, what happens in a Photoshop file, for example? If you open a Photoshop file, Photoshop will tell you that some layers you can't change because it uses a font that you no longer have, but it will still display it. So you don't lose the design that you created. You simply can't change it. As far as InDesign is concerned, it's interesting to know that if you package your file, the fonts will actually live in that package. So whenever you reopen that InDesign file, the text will display correctly. Okay? So basically what I'm saying is that you can still see your work, only that you won't be able to use the fonts any longer. Yes. That the licensing terminates with your termination. Yes.
Looks like the fonts are really a trending subject here in Warsaw.
Yeah.
Okay, Jason, the next question is to you. Is preferences syncing available in Premiere Pro and After Effects as well?
Yes. So as we discussed earlier and as Rufus showed you, currently in CC you have Creative Cloud preferences syncing for both Premiere Pro and After Effects, and slightly different things will sync between them. So in the case of After Effects, where you have things like composition settings and workspaces, in Premiere Pro you have workspaces, and these also include some of your various panel layouts and some of the presets that you create for some of the things that I showed you for customizing track headers and things like that. So yes, you do have preference sync between with those two applications, and we hope to bring more synchronization capabilities to other applications like Prelude and Audition moving forward. But the first two that we wanted to tackle were Premiere and After Effects, and you can do that.
And also what's unique is you could sync from any Creative Cloud account.
You can sync from any Creative Cloud account, and you can even switch from within the app. So if you're using someone else's version of After Effects on another machine, you can sign out of theirs, sign into yours, and your settings, your workspaces, your composition settings, they will all appear inside the application.
All right.
Thank you. Next question for Paul.
Well,
This-
okay, yeah.
Okay, well, this is
Sesja,
about the
Fonty.
fonts again. Actually, Paul, you're half Polish, whatever. You should be able to read that, especially the last part. Okay, just kidding. So the question is about the fonts in TypeKit, whether they're gonna have Polish signs.
Yes.
Like, I mean, Polish.
You know, we can double check that, but yeah, I mean, they are from major foundries. We were literally just in Istanbul, and 90% of the Turkish fonts are there. So they also say the same thing about the Polish fonts, 90%. I can't read Polish. I can't really double check that. But yes.
Piotr
Yeah, but
can.
basically, those fonts which have the design for Polish fonts will have that available in TypeKit as well. So there is no technical limitation on Polish fonts, right?
And by the way, this is actually something that I received from some of you in regards to the Creative Now and Creative Days webpage, that some of you reported that you didn't see the fonts very well. So this was actually a problem with some browsers, so apologies for that. Next question.
All right. Oh,
Piotr.
that's for me. Okay, this is actually a question if it's possible to configure in Business Catalyst a different domain than Adobe domain, but
Yes.
definitely
Yes.
it is.
Absolutely, absolutely. So basically, it's just a matter of buying a name with, I don't know what service you have here.
Nazwa.pl.
There you go.
Home.
And then basically what you do in Business Catalyst, and exactly the same thing for the pro sites, you simply change the A address in the preferences, and you're basically done. So that links whatever name you choose to your Business Catalyst website. And remember that you can have up to 5 full websites included in the Creative Cloud membership.
Right?
Thank you.
Rufus
again. Font syncing. Are the fonts from Universal Type Server and my other, not CC fonts, also synchronized?
No, we don't touch what's yours. So basically, the fonts that live on your computer, we're not syncing them to our cloud and back to yours. So no.
Thank you.
But actually, it's a similar question to one we had before, if you can sync your fonts. Which,
Yes.
which basically, in
It's
the
pretty
long
much
term,
the same, yes,
it's
yes.
a cool idea. I would see that, but well, it's not possible now.
Okay, that's another question to you, Rufus. Does Adobe have any plans to develop an application for rapid wireframing and web prototyping? It would be great to work with the CC service and fill some gaps in web development workflow.
Yes, so thank you, whoever asked that question. This is something that, of course, we're listening to, and we will bring back to the product teams. Now, I don't know if they mean rapid prototyping on a desktop or on a tablet device. I imagine it's on the desktop, but we already see some development in the Edge tools and services that allow you to do reflowable liquid layouts and rapid prototyping in that kind of way. So yes, I can imagine that in future we will also be providing solutions.
Yeah,
for
like
that.
reflow. Maybe it's not a wireframing,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you can treat it as a prototyping tool for websites and designing basically responsive websites.
And even, I don't know, you could even use Muse as well.
Yes,
if you wanted
yes.
to prototype.
Actually,
using
I know quite a few people who use Muse for the rapid prototyping of a website. And then, of course, Muse doesn't have backends, and you can't add programming to it and things like that. But what I've seen people do is actually use these layouts and actually then take them further down the road and develop them into something that is more interactive, let's say.
Thank you. Jason, can you eliminate several through edits at once?
Yes, great question. So yes, in Premiere Pro, because since CS6, when we changed the editing methods where you can now right-click or control-click on your edit points and choose ripple variations and all these different abilities that you have, if you shift-select your through edits, so you can shift-select to multiple select them, you can then right-click and join multiple through edits in one time, which is an amazing time saver.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Paul, are all CC apps the MacBook Retina display friendly? Now in design, CS6 is completely unusable.
Well, I can answer that.
Yeah.
InDesign CC is Retina display optimized, and what I didn't mention this morning in the keynote is that it is also 64-bit compatible. So there's many we completely rewrote the code of InDesign. So yes, InDesign is now Retina display optimized.
And since you just mentioned 64-bit, I had several questions in the hall about Audition, which I only showed a very brief piece of. That too is also 64-bit rewritten for CC. So.
Thank you. Jason, how about Autodesk products supporting After Effects?
So the short answer to that is the same integration that you had with Autodesk before is what you have now, which isn't much. Effectively, right. So as far as a live 3D pipeline is concerned, or basically a live direct link from 3D modeling into 2D compositing in After Effects, the support that you saw today is native only to Cinema 4D. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not, again, investigating further usage, whether it's Autodesk products or other things like Maya or some of the other variations that you have out there. But yes, correct. Today, we don't have any other additional integration with Autodesk outside of what you could already do in the past.
Right.
Thank you.
Paul.
Does CSS Designer and Dreamweaver generate CSS3 tags with prefixes? Great question, and it actually will. So I could have gone into preferences and checked all of those boxes for Mozilla, Internet Explorer, things like that. Keep in mind, IE6, I'm doing border radius or some drop shadow. Not so much, right? But I don't want to penalize everybody with modern browsers by eliminating that completely. So the answer is yes, just keep in mind you're going to still have browser difficulties based on that particular browser, older ones.
Thank you. Well, again, is it possible to somehow delete assets from the assets window in Edge Animate? After making few projects, I have lots of assets in that window.
Yeah, so this is something else that, that we did earlier just to double check it. And you can just make sure you're not in that symbol, and then you can delete it, you can export it, you have full control. Another little tip is there's that images section. Now, the images assets in that images folder, I can't delete because it actually will remove it from your hard drive, okay? And there's if you right click, it will say view in Finder. So that's when I jump out to the Finder and then I delete. And I want that functionality. I want to be aware that it's going to delete from my hard drive when that's the case.
Thank you. And the next question goes to Piotr.
Okay, I'll take that, that's in Polish. Jak sprawdzi się Edge Reflow w pracy, pracy projektanta User Experience przy tworzeniu prototypów stron internetowych? Czy możemy zastąpić takie narzędzie do prototypowania? Okay. Więc w tej chwili Reflow jak najbardziej do prototypowania, co już wcześniej wspomnieliśmy, myślę, że jest dobrym narzędziem, chociaż w tej chwili jeszcze nie ma żadnych elementów interakcji, czyli nie możemy stworzyć linku, który może być klikalnym linkiem, aczkolwiek są to rzeczy, nad którymi pracujemy w tej chwili. To jest na pewno w najbliższych miesiącach w roadmapie narzędzia Reflow. Jeśli chodzi o narzędzie do wireframingu, no nie ma tam jakichś budowanych styli, które by nadawały taki czysty wireframe'owy wygląd dodawanym komponentom, więc raczej na razie nie, aczkolwiek to jest też coś, co gdzieś aktywnie myślimy nad takimi narzędziami. Niewykluczone, że może kiedyś coś będzie dostępne w tej dziedzinie, ale póki co to Reflow raczej do prototypowania, mniej do wireframe'owania.
Super, dziękuję. Piotr,
Czy
następne
Reflow
pytanie do ciebie.
można nadawać nazwy obiektom? Tak, można nadawać nazwy obiektom, tak jak pokazywałem w trakcie warsztatów, można kliknąć tam w lewym dolnym rogu